Hey, you remember not too long ago when we had that nice shark that wouldn't fit to any of our Jazzwares figures? Well, we've got a couple of Hasbro Battle Royale 6-inch figures to look at, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about them. Hello, toy and Fortnite fans. I'm here today with Deo and Siona of Hasbro's Fortnite Victory Royale series. So, this, of course, is supposed to fit, I believe, with Battle Shark, or the upgrade shark, which we've done a review of. You can see it up there in that top corner. And then these are our two astronauts from Fortnite. So, there's some interesting stuff about this. The packaging is, very much in the Hasbro style. We've got instead of a in-game screen, we've got some nice artwork of it, of Siona and Deo here. We get to see them in package. We get like a little window to get to see what they look like in there. And automatically looking at them, they've got quite very long necks. So we'll kind of talk about what that means and what's going on with that when we get them out. Over on the side, we see that it includes these items here for Deo, and these items over here for Siona. Of course, I believe that you can use them for either one, which that's kind of how, Fortnite works. You can kind of take one cape for one and put it on the other. However, these items don't fit to Jazzwares toys, and we'll talk about that as well. Including the weapons are going to be more like the arcade stuff, and like what we got with the upgrade shark. Remember, with the upgrade shark, it didn't fit on the Jazzwares legendary figure. So let's take a look at the back. Of course, on the back we get a picture that almost feels like a computer rendering of the toy, and we get to see them all post up with their helmets, and you can see through their helmets really well here. We'll kind of get into that here in a minute. We get to see, of course, the accessories that go with them. Of course, they only show the helmets on with all the accessories. I kind of feel like they maybe should have had like their harvesting tools or their back bling on, something to give us more, because we got this from the side and this from the side, and then that was it. Okay, now that's the box, and that's them in the box, and we're not going to get into any more discussion about it because there's really nothing else we can say about the box. We got to get these out and get to playing. And directly out of the package, this is what we get. Of course, we've got Deo here, we got Siona there, and I'm noticing a few things about the figures already that are kind of irksome, and we'll get into that as we start breaking down the articulation and some about the figures themselves. Now, out of Deo's stuff, he of course has this clear dome. I'm noticing some things there too. But he's got a clear dome and he's got this collar, and this is supposed to fit in like this. Now, this collar it actually snaps into the collar up here of his spacesuit, and then this is supposed to fit over the top, so you could pose his head and then pose this on top of it. Huh. You also have a little submachine gun, and it's a little gummy, much like the other ones from the arcade machine that we had talked about. You also have his moonrock harvesting tool. I think it's called the shooting star harvesting tool. That's pretty interesting. Kind of weird. It feels like this is the gummier material, but it's hard, and then this feels more like it's about to snap. And then there's some paint issues on there as well. And then you have his meteorite back bling. That's an encased meteorite. And I'm looking along these edges, and I'm seeing some issues there. Still trying to figure out why this is orange and this is white. But it's an okay back bling. Okay, now Siona's stuff. Of course, she has her meteorite back bling. I like the look of this. I think that looks good. She has her assault rifle, and kind of gummy. She has her lunar harvesting tools. These are pretty cool, and they are very gummy. And then you have her helmet as well that has a kind of clear dome. Not very clear, unfortunately. And then you've got her collar as well, and that fits onto her uniform and goes in. Now this one, interestingly enough, snap down like that. Is it gonna stay? Kind of. Alright, let's break down some of the figures and let's see what we're dealing with. Now, on the figures themselves, they've got this long kind of giraffe-like neck, and the reason why is it's got 2 points of ball joints in there. You've got one up here at the top, and you've got one down here at the bottom. Now, the one at the bottom is not supposed to really let loose. However, if you look here, there's a double ball joint here, which makes this like super floopy-floppity. And you've got the floopy-floppity inside there. You know, it took me a while to find the Adam's apple. I had to turn the head completely around, but then that snaps on top. You do have these ball hinge shoulders, and one of the things I started noticing is I started noticing all this paint that was flecking off of my figure. You've got these rockers here that kind of rock back and forth, not too much there, but there's a little bit of articulation there. You've got this ab crunch. He's able to rock back that way, rock forward that way. He's got a pretty decent range of movement, but when you start pushing him back too far, you start getting these kind of open areas here. It's kind of strange. You do have a bicep cut, and on that bicep cut, it is broken up by the armband. Now up here you do have a double hinged elbow. And that one's, I feel like that one's looking a little strange. The pinless joints sometimes, you know, if they're not sculpted out, they can look kind of weird when they go all the way down. Look, another paint scratch right there. You've got, from his collar, you've got a turnable wrist. This hand actually rocks up and down, so he can do his weapon like that, or up. Nothing that's going to allow it to go up and down, and then you've got the trigger finger there as well. Now you've got a kind of a rubberized pant piece here that's going to allow for some movement, and you've got these straps here that go into these pockets. These pockets are like glued down to the leg. As far as the leg, that's about as far as he's going to kick up. Yep. And even turning the leg, you're dealing with these straps, and these straps are pulling every chance they get on this belt. That's a weird design. You figured you'd want this guy to have a lot more movement, like if he was going to sit down on something, if they were going to eventually put out of the vehicle. I mean, that's about the range you can go with that. That's not very good. Can't have him sit down. Oh, that's not good. And then, of course, look, another paint problem right there. Now, I was trying to figure this out. I don't know if this is supposed to be white or if this is just kind of a beige color. I kind of like this pinkish color up here on the top. Up here. But I feel like there's a discrepancy between this orange and these oranges here. It's just a little odd. Going down the leg, you have the thigh cut, which doesn't allow a lot of movement. You have the double knee, but it doesn't allow a lot of movement back because of the way this is sculpted out. You do have, instead of a boot cut, well, you've got, yeah, it's a boot cut here. You've got a boot cut there. You've got an ankle hinge, and then you've got a foot turn as well. So much like the jazz wears on certain levels of what we got. Now, in order to get his helmet on, you pop that off. You put his helmet on like this. You pop this head back into place. And because of that top knot, you need to find the back of the helmet, pin that in, and go over the top of the head. And that does turn a little bit. Now, I remember on the back of the box where it showed like you could really see the face and everything. There's some issues with this one in that I don't feel like this is quite as clear as it was supposed to be. I can see the face okay, and that works. But I was supposed to see it, I think, a little bit better. I think the sculpting, and there's some frosting in there too, that just might not be very good. As far as his back bling, he's got a post here. You can post in that meteorite on the back. It just kind of sits off of him. And then you can give him his harvesting tool, which these hands, there you go. Get them in. And we'll give him his submachine gun here. Alright. And that's Deo. Let's take a look at Siona. For Siona, the same thing. She's got that really weird, and hers is like super loose up here on the head. Not quite so much on the neck. She does have those hinged shoulders. The only cut that she has for bicep is going to be here at the joint, and this is a single joint only for the elbow, so there's no double jointing here. She also has an ab crunch here, but no waist turn as well. Now her pockets here are not attached to her legs. They're actually free floating, and I feel like they're kind of sticking out a little bit. So she's got a lot better range of motion as far as her knees, thigh cut. She can go out that far. Another knee joint. This one's super tight. And then she's got an ankle rock, a little bit of a foot, and no boot cut at all. So she actually lacks articulation. Now her hands here, she's got her rockers will rock the hands up and down on both arms, and they turn. Whereas Deo's, one did the gun portion like this, and the other side rocks up and down like this. So it's kind of strange that we're getting it to where hers are both one way and his are a completely different way. And actually the difference in articulation seems kind of strange too, that we didn't get more articulation with this figure that we did with the other. Now for her helmet, go ahead and pop off that head. We're going to put that collar on. Remember, we got to take the glass off, pop the head back in, and because of those long draft heads, they're kind of strange. They don't like to sit in all the way. Find the back here. It's supposed to fit and fit over. And I don't feel like her helmet is quite as clear as his. It's got some frosting issues in there. Oh, Deo. Trying to take the show. Of course, her back bling sits in, and that's really loose. Like that's kind of a... I feel like that one hadn't fallen off yet, but that one could very well be on its way. Here, let's do this. So she has two harvesting tools. We're going to put this one, I guess, in a side pack over here. And then we'll put her weapon up over here. If we can. And then her helmet came off again. There was the issue when I had these out and I was kind of looking through them beforehand earlier. I had them out and I dropped her helmet at one point. I thought I'd lost it for a very long time. That's the figures. You know, let's break down some compatibility issues here. Not that I didn't get Deo and Siona because, you know, I only wanted something from my upgrade shark. I was really looking forward to having these two figures with my upgrade shark because of the compatibility. And then I started playing with the parts for the upgrade shark. Now, he does fairly well. And I was checking out this sushi back bling. If you remember from the upgrade shark, you know, I really wanted to put that in. That does not fit. It is too big. It's interesting that this, for this series, doesn't actually fit. The back bling he has fits nice and tight. You want to put hers on, it's almost about to fall out. This should be able to be compatible with the other figures, but it doesn't actually snap into place like it should. Other things, I noticed the skis for him work really well, and they kind of fit into place, though they also pop off fairly easily. So like a couple times I was playing with them, had them skiing or whatever, and I can't remember how I did it, but then the thing fell off and fell on the floor. These are issues that we should not be having, like things like these paint scratches, this paint splash here, the fact that these are hindering, you know, articulation here, paint scratch there. A lot of the orange on the boots are starting to come off too, and you know, there's unpainted pieces up here, the helmet not being completely frosted. This is, you know, I'm gonna kind of say my piece here because, you know, I really enjoyed Jazzwares, and I really enjoyed Jazzwares Fortnite figures, and I really like these characters, and it's characters I would love to have. But these are two characters I would love to have been made by Jazzwares and put out through Jazzwares, because I'm not quite as happy with what I'm getting for my Hasbro run. The fact that I've got a shark that all the parts don't work with these two, and they're supposed to be compatible. The issues with the paint up here is that it's supposed to be white, it's supposed to be orange. Why is this orange different colors than the rest of these oranges here? There's issues here that need to be fixed. She has a lack of articulation. He has all the articulation, but then his articulation is hindered by his rubberized pieces. It could have easily been, you know, pockets that floated to the sides. I'm not quite sure how I feel about Hasbro having this license, and I say that because I'm not quite sure how I feel about Hasbro right now as a toy company. They have really good licenses. They've had G.I. Joe forever, and I love G.I. Joe, and I've got like the Classifieds Baroness. We did a review of her. It was actually an excellent figure. But here lately, I feel like this has been kind of just a quick cash grab. Let's put something out and just give fans something that they can be happy about, but then the quality control aspect of it is just not there. And I'm just not sure how I feel about it. Frosted helmets that aren't completely clear, even though they're supposed to be. I mean, her helmet kept falling off to the point that I almost lost it. The skis don't actually fit in her feet, and the sushi back bling doesn't actually fit on either one of them. These are things that should be fixed. You know, I know that they've got pinless joints, and pinless joints are great. They look incredible. But I'm not sure how I quite feel about having pinless joints versus having a figure that has really good articulation. And that's just my personal opinion. I was originally very happy to have these two in my collection, though honestly I don't think they're going to stay in my collection, and that's just my personal preference right now. Now, these are available. You can find them pretty much anywhere. I know Walmart's had them. This is part of the Wave 1 Battle Victory Royale toys from Hasbro. I believe I got mine on Amazon, and it's pretty easy to find on Amazon right now. So it's not like you're having to go out and scrub and look. Just punch in Deo and Siona and you'll find it. Now, that's all I can say about Deo and Siona right now. And I have a feeling this conversation for them is going to end pretty quickly. So remember, they're not dolls. In this case, they're action figures that have some doll-like components, but they don't have soft goods clothing, so they're not dolls. When I'm not recording videos here on YouTube, I'm actually over on a podcast on marvindogmedia.com called Talking Toys with Taylor and Jeff. It's a really cool toy podcast. Be sure to check it out. Also, I need your help getting my YouTube channel to grow. Be sure to subscribe down below with that big red button. Hit that bell for notifications so you can be alerted of anything that comes from me to you. Like this video, it helps YouTube know that you like what I'm making, and comment down below. I like chatting with you all.